Thank you for tuning in to WHID-FM. What has Islam done for me? Please subscribe.
The next question I have is about courtship. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us about the courting process as opposed to this world's way of dating. How effective do you think that is, and why do you think that's necessary?
The first part was, is the courtship necessary?
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's so important. And the minister has taught on this. Like Sister Brianna was saying, people ask, why don't y'all live together? Or y'all can't, be intimate, or like, why is it so quote unquote strict? But the minister has talked about it. Imagine if it wasn't set up that way. And now I'm dating you and I done slept with you and it don't work out. And now you on to the next person and the next person. He said, next thing you know, the mosque is a whorehouse. And that's not what we want. So it's really to protect the integrity, really in character of both parties, but especially the woman. And you hear it all the time. I think it was even played earlier that, you hear that there's wherever there's no such thing as a no decent woman. Every woman was made that way by no decent man. And that's the kind of environment you would be creating if we didn't have the courtship process set up the way that it is. So it's super important because that's one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make in your life is to choose a life partner, outside of accepting your own, accepting to be a part of the nation. That's one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make in your life. And I think that it's just very, very critical. I think another piece that has to be added for, and I'll speak for myself, is to just also have that level of discernment when you're entering in the courtship, because, I think we may, everybody wants to have a partner and be married and have this happy life, but the trials are going to come. And so that's something that I think is super important, discussing beforehand. Okay, what are we going to do when these trials come? Because it's all good and dandy now, but when the trials come, how are we going to overcome them? And having those important discussions. And there's a whole handbook on questions and how the courtship process should go and everything. And it's really just a beautiful setup to make way for a beautiful marriage, thus a beautiful family, thus a beautiful nation. So it's absolutely essential.
Yes. Well, speaking about the 75%, what is your perception of that? Why do you feel that 75% of the work is with the woman? Sister Nafisha.
I had one understanding of that before. I just thought, again, you hear it, and so it kind of just becomes, okay, that's just a saying that we say, 75% of the work is with the woman. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense because, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, you teach a woman, you teach a nation. It sounds very cliche, but to fully understand that, when the minister said that in the Quran, it says, let us make man, that he's also saying God and the woman, let us make man. That hit completely different for me. I'm like, oh my God. And then someone else just posted on Instagram the other day, the minister speaking on the role of the woman and how we have a double duty. And I'm just like, it starts to get overwhelming. I'm like, okay, hold up. Wait a minute. And so it's hit like way different than my understanding again when I was younger. But it's absolutely the truth. You are literally, when you're creating life, it's just you and Allah. I'm sorry, saying that stuff, it gives me chills because I'm just like, this is heavy, powerful stuff. You're literally molding not just an individual, but we as women are producing an entire nation. And that's why how to give birth to a God is also so important. Because, we are producing the next scientists and, the answers to people's prayers. Like, it's all very powerful, heavy stuff. Since accepting and all the way up fast forward to today, it has a whole nother level of meaning and understanding for me now. Now realizing that our role as women is so heavy, so it only makes sense that majority of the work would be first with reforming the woman. Because if all women were covered and all women had standards and didn't let a man approach her any kind of way, we would turn all men into a completely new individual, have a completely new way of interacting with one another. You know, if we all really wanted for our sister what we wanted for ourselves, and we didn't let sister so-and-so's husband come creep into so-and-so's DMs, and we shut all that down, we would reform the entire world. So it only makes sense that majority of the work is with us, but it's a heavy thing.